We're here today to protest the lack of funding via Congress for America's protective wall. This is not President Donald J. Trump's wall, but is a necessary instrument to protect Americans' safety, American boundaries. And this must be built to curtail crime, drugs, and above all else, human trafficking. Human trafficking across the border, the southern border, is a big business for the criminal enterprise. And what makes it awful is that it's a prosperous criminal enterprise because America produces the Johns, because America produces the clients. What kind of society have we become that allow the exploitation, abuse, and even murder in children and persons in the land of the free? The wall, as we have said before, is not immoral. What is immoral is rape, exploitation, the harvesting of organs, and the murder of children and persons. Speaker Pelosi, does that not offend you? It is not that sufficiently immoral for you. According to the State Department, even up to 19,000 foreign nationals are trafficked into the United States every year. Most of those, an estimated 70%, are trafficked from Mexico. And half of those are minors forced into prostitution. Believe me, a lot of those children coming through with their supposed parents, those are not parents, those are custodians. As a servicer and provider of past victims, I've heard the stories. I've had to help women heal those that were fortunate enough to escape. One particular one told me the story of how she was selected by her parents as the sacrifice, the one that could be sacrificed, the black goat, because she had a defect in her body. So they thought if she makes it through and sends money, yay, and if we lose her, so who cares, she's defective. You see, it's not just us. It's the mindset, the cultural mindset of the people that think a child can be sacrificed. As previous providers, I already said that. Sorry, because I'm reading. It's too much asked for $5 billion to build a wall to help mitigate this crime. The wall, a symbol of boundaries, strength, and order, speaks volumes to the world entire. That's right. This is why President Trump has made human trafficking a focus of this administration. And he has already made significant progress in addressing it. There's even an executive order to empower law enforcement and provide the resources necessary to dismantle transnational criminal organizations involved in trafficking. Construction of a southern border will help immensely curtail those heinous crimes against humanity. Therefore, I lend my voice with all of you today to implore, to ask Congress, have some heart for America. Have some heart for our daughters and our sons. Have some heart for the veterans. I'm a veteran. I'm an Air Force veteran. And if they allow me back in, I'll go back in. I'll fight socialism. I'll fight communism. I've been doing it my whole life. I have helped the Venezuelan people to overcome. And we are seeing today a 1776 episode where the Venezuelan people rose up and said, we have enough of this communism. We have enough of this socialism. We've had enough of this tyranny. We want freedom. Venezuela, yes, Venezuela was once the fourth largest economy in the world. And it's important because Venezuela stabilizes the Latin American region. It brings prosperity to the other countries as they do intercommerce. So we all know that socialism stinks. Socialism does not pay. And we ask again, Speaker Pelosi, get off the high moral horse and fund that wall. Thank you. Thank you. Many dias. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Great speech. Build the wall. Okay, we've got more speakers lined up. Adam?
Will you hold the camera for me?
All right, everyone.
Hold on.
All right. So I'm Adam Rice. I'm here from Yellow Vest USA, and I'd like to talk about some other problems in our country that we would like to propose some solutions to. So no one group came up with these. This is from all the feedback from all of the people that we have consulted through our Yellow Vest movement here in America. First, we're on the topic of the United Nations. It is time for the United States to leave. The UN has become a danger to the U.S. by promoting an overreaching authoritarian agenda not in line with the Constitution. Each year we spend billions of dollars with both the UN and foreign aid. The allocation of these funds will immediately be redirected into programs for American citizens such as healthcare, education, alleviating homelessness in our senior citizens and our veterans. Mass immigration. We all understand that we have an immigration system that is broken. We can no longer ignore this problem. We have allowed our government ample time to fix it with no success. So we must fix this. Whether it is a wall or another solution, we have to do something. Too many people are being hurt and dying. It is awful. We have seen it. You've all spoken on that, so I will skip on to something next. All right. We have a petition here. I'd love to show you guys what we've put up for it too. We've crossed some left and right lines with that. Happy to talk more personally with anyone after this. Okay. We also, if millions of people can flee their own country because of corruption, those same millions can stand together in this vest and take their country back. They can be free too. Marijuana, we want the marijuana legalized. We want it in all states and taxed so we can fund senior care. The same regulations as tobacco. We want research for medicine to help people with cancer. IRS and taxation. Phase in the action to dismantle and end the IRS and stop federal income tax on both personal people and businesses. Immediately implement a national federal flat sales tax not to exceed the state level tax. No tax exemption for anyone. State taxes remain the same and not to exceed 10%. We want the fake news to stop. We want transparency and truth. We want the money out of politics. We want fair elections. We want to be heard. We want our representatives to do what we want, not what they want, not what unelected bodies elsewhere in the globe want. We want our voices heard. All people equally. Judicial. Every citizen of the United States deserves a fair trial. The program Compass needs to stop. It is being used statistically to analyze and recommend sentences to offenders. We must end this. Okay, data collecting. Any data collected from the people, sold to businesses. This will be my last one. All right. This one is important. Sorry. I'll end with the website. I'll read this one piece because it is important. All the data that is being taken from the people belongs to us. It can't be sold. We want our privacy back, and if anyone is going to sell our data, we get paid, not them. You can find us online, yellowvestusa.us. All of this is up there. I'm happy to speak to any of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Done a lot of research. Thank you. Okay, Ben, I'd like you to come up and talk for a few minutes to everybody.
Thank you, guys. I will be quick. A lot of you guys know my story. So I'm out of California. I have the displeasure of having a governor who has committed treason as well. Gavin Newsom should be in prison at minimum. He has broken his oath along with Nancy Pelosi. We delivered that letter to Nancy Pelosi yesterday. But any politician, any representative who protects an illegal alien over an American citizen should be held for treason. They should be removed from office. The only office they should be able to hold is a jail cell, and that's minimum. There's a reason why the death penalty comes with treason. The reason I'm up here, I've crossed back and forth across the border. I have the pleasure of hanging with guys like Will Johnson and Conservative Anthony and a lot of the patriots up here. But the reason I'm doing what I do, I'm a part of the Angel Families Network as well, and having Chris come up here and speak. I haven't had a child lost to an illegal alien, but I don't want to have one lost. I don't want to become an angel father. That's my biggest fear. I can't imagine what Chris goes through. Angel moms like Agnes Gibney or dads like Don Rosenberg, Marianne Mendoza. For these politicians to say that this is not a crisis, they are complete liars. They spit in your face. They spit in the face of every American. Nancy Pelosi wouldn't even have the decency to meet with them. Yet she cares about illegal alien separation. And you know what happens most of the time they're separated? Oftentimes we find out that those men that are taking those girls aren't their fathers. They're raping them. There is a man in our jail in my county right now who came across illegally, brought a 12-year-old girl, said it was his daughter. 4 months later, he's in jail, she's in the hospital. He had raped her continuously for 4 months. Her mom sold her to him. And we have Democrats here that say don't separate that man from his child.
Right, not his child.
It is disgusting. It is evil. The battle that we are in this nation is not a physical battle. It's a spiritual battle. And the enemy is strong. The light is dark. But the darker the darkness, the lighter your light shines. It's time for every American citizen, every God-fearing citizen to stand up, to fight back, to shine your light. And I believe that this is the time. There is a generation of patriots, God-fearing patriots across this country that are starting to stand. Many people say it's too far gone. I don't believe it. God put it on my heart to stay in California and fight. I believe California can be redeemed. If California can be redeemed, the entire nation can be redeemed. But it's up to you. It's up to us. It's up to every American, every legal immigrant that's come here the right way, raised their hand and sworn the oath, that loves this country, to stand together. It's an honor to stand with you. My organization's Frontline America. We're going to continue to fight until these politicians are in prison and America comes first again. God bless you guys.
Frontline USA. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Will, come on up and say a word for us here. Hey, we don't care about rain. We don't care about rain. We care about America.
What's up? Who's your president? I can't hear you. Who's your president? Awesome. You know what? It's beautiful to see everybody out here. Little rain, we don't melt. You know what these are? These are liberal tears. They feel good. You know what? I love this country. My name is Will Johnson. I have a group called Unite America First. Because that's what we have to do.
Amen.
You know what? We all believe in helping people, but we have to take care of our home first. That's why we have to unite America first. Look, I confronted Kamala Harris. I confronted Kevin De Leon and asked him directly, why are you putting illegals before the American people? And they just looked dumbfounded that someone would ask them that question. So every time you see any of these politicians, you ask them, why are you putting illegals before the American people? We elected you to help the American people, not illegals. So just remember, I'm going to make mine short because it's getting cold and these liberal tears are coming down. When 2020 time comes, everyone has got to say, vote DEM, vote them out, vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Awesome, my name is Will Johnson, UniteAmericaFirst.com. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless our President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, Will Johnson. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to ask Anthony. Anthony from El Paso, Texas. Conservative Anthony. He is on the ground right at the border. And let's have a word from Anthony.
How you doing, everybody? Thank you all for showing out today. And I'm here to represent a family out of El Paso, which last Thanksgiving, a sixth grade teacher by the name of Amanda Ferguson was killed by an illegal alien on Thanksgiving Eve, drunk driving. He left her out on the side of the road without aiding or helping her. After running her over, he decided to flee the scene. It's unfortunate that these incidents are becoming way too common. A wall is definitely going to be a tool for us, and it's definitely going to help. Me being in a border town, I see the atrocities day in, day out, and the injustice being committed to our American citizens. A wall is going to be a definite deterrent, but we also need immigration reform. We can build a wall all around America, but if we continue to incentivize these individuals to come in, they're going to continue to come this way. If we want to address the actual issue about illegal immigration, we have to get to the root of the problem, which is the United Nations Open Migration Pact. You guys need to get familiar with it and become more open to stopping and leaving the United Nations. The Open Migration Pact is really signed by 154 other countries, including Mexico and Canada. At the time that people enter these countries, they are being rushed over to our borders. This is not going to stop. The bleeding of America will continue unless we stop incentivizing these individuals to come over. If you guys would like to follow up with myself or anybody that we work with down at the border, please look out for Border Network News. We cover day in, day out, the caravans coming in, and I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for coming out. God bless you all.
Thank you, Anthony. That's Conservative Anthony. You guys can follow him. He brings a lot of great information from the border down in El Paso, Texas. Okay, I think I've got Mo somewhere. Mo?
See, three people call me Will today. That's all right. I know Will. That's a compliment.
Mo Johnson.
Mo Johnson. I ain't gonna be with y'all very long. I just want to talk about the wall, right? The wall is just common sense right here. It's just common sense. The wall. I mean, I'm serious. We got walls in our house, right? We're not just gonna let anybody come in our house, just walk up in our house. You know what I'm saying? Only the people that live there. You know, like if my kids live there, they don't want to get the key. Not even my nephews and nieces get the key. If you live there, you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? You get the key. You know what I'm saying? But we have the key to this country. This is our country. We can't just let anybody just walk over us. We can't let anybody just punk us. You know, just think about it. Treat this country like you treat your house. Get your house in order. And the problem with these liberals, they don't want to get their house in order. They don't want. They want to just cater to these other countries, you know. See, I can play this game. We can play this game. You can play this game. So you hear the liberals say Trump is not my president. All right. Pelosi is not. She's not my speaker. So you can play that game. But it's all about common sense. Common sense. You don't want nobody in your house like you at your job. This is your bank account. You're not gonna let nobody just walk in and steal your money. You know what I'm saying? It's all about common sense. Common sense. And that's the problem with the generation. That's the problem with the left. They lack so much common sense. They just go on with everybody else saying, "Oh, Trump is not my president. Oh, he said build the wall." You damn right, build that wall. We're going to keep on. Matter of fact, we're going to finish the wall. Saying the building is going to finish the wall. And we are the people. We are the American people. We are standing up for our freedom. This is our freedom at stake right here. So let's keep on standing up for America. America first. This is our country. This land is your land. This land is my land. This is our land. All right, let's say it.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you so much. And as we stand right here in front of this great wall protecting our president, we want a wall. We, the American citizens, we want a wall to protect us, just as this great wall right here in front of the White House protects our president. Okay, let's talk about making love great again. Come on up.
Thank you for that.
Hey everyone, I'm Deanna Lorraine, and it's so good to see you guys out here today. It is freezing cold and we are shivering and it's raining, but we're here because we're all passionate about this country. And we are so passionate about this president. Yeah. And we are passionate most of all about the security of our American family. And we want to build that wall. Yes, build that wall. Build that wall. Finish that wall. And yes, I see this rain as just washing away the disease of liberalism that has swept over our whole country and bringing out God's blessings to all of us. Yeah. My book is Make Love Great Again. And you know what? Borders and laws are love. It is loving to have laws. It is so anti-love and anti-God to have lawlessness in our country. Because what we see, people being killed, we see children being trafficked, we see women being assaulted and killed. How is that love? How is that moral? These people are sick. We need to bring together Americans. Imagine if we all just had the same moral compass, right? I have a dream that all Americans actually believe that it is right and good to put our own American family first. Isn't that just common sense? To put our own American citizens first is a good and healthy thing to do. You know, 22 veterans commit suicide every day due to lack of treatment and health care and improper support. 22 veterans. And there are millions of homeless Americans cold on the street every night. We have to bear this cold and rain for just a few hours. Imagine the homeless Americans that are cold every single night and they have no home to go to. Right? We have our own American family members that we need to take care of first. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's everything right with that. Why can't the Democrats see that we just have to take care of our own family members first? They don't care. They don't care. They don't give a crap about Americans. They want to invade Americans with people that don't want to be Americans, right? That just want to desecrate the country that these veterans have given their lives for. They've given everything for. Now, imagine if we can all as Americans, and I would think this would be common sense, if we all came together to fight the issues, the real issues, not talk about President Trump's hair or Melania Trump's shoes, right? But actually talked about the real issues like sex trafficking that our president is working so hard to work on, right? Or the opioid crisis that is killing thousands of American lives every day, that people are battling every day, that's ruining our country. Or fixing the marital rate, the divorce rate, and trying to heal our homes, heal our families. Or stopping abortion and having our country be a country that promotes life and that celebrates life instead of promotes death. Imagine how much stronger our country would be if we were all united in fighting these real issues of America. Right? Yes. And dark to light, exactly. And our president is one heck of a man, because he actually cares about this country more than any president ever has. He actually is fighting on these real issues. He actually cares about Americans first. He actually cares. Imagine how much stronger our country would be if we were all united. Because united we stand, divided we fall. Where we go one, we go all. I'm Deanna Lorraine. Follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Rain or shine.
Thank
we
you.
will build that wall.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
We should wave to them. The second to the left window. Wave, guys.
God bless you, President Trump. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Trump family. Thank you so much, Trump administration. Okay, we're got a little bit more to talk about, and we're not letting this rain hurt us. I want to introduce the next person, Omar Navarro. He's a young millennial who ran against one of the oldest people in Congress, Maxine Waters. I don't know about you guys. She may be a piece of taxidermy existing right there in Congress. But Omar, I'm going to have you come on up.
All right, Omar.
How's everybody doing?
How's it going?
You know, when I was involved in politics when I was 19 years of age, I'm 30 now. Time goes by pretty fast.
Oh, it does.
And when I see things changing in our country, I used to see a lot of young people not involved in politics, not caring about what's going on. And now, I saw a guy by the name of President Donald J. Trump that stepped in 2 years ago and decided that he was going to be the man in this country. I'm happy that we have a president that takes action, that gets the job done. He doesn't back away from a challenge. He doesn't back away from anybody. People like Nancy Pelosi, people like Maxine Waters, people like Elizabeth Warren are destroying our country every single day. We need people that are going to fight for the American people. We need people who are going to represent us. That's why I'm here today. I'm not a politician that's just going to give you the talk. I'm the politician that's going to give you the action and the walk. That's what we need to do. We need to walk the walk and we need to show up. I'm here in the middle of the rain in a suit. Doesn't matter. I'm right here because I care, and I care about the American people. I care about the Angel families that lost their children. I care about them, and I've shown up. I've gone to Arizona with Sheriff Joe and the border, and we've stood up against illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is a disease that's in our country. We have to make sure that we are fighting and we are protecting our border. My family came from Mexico and Cuba legally. They've been through with their head held up, not down. They taught me that you do things right in this country. If you do things right, the American dream will come.
That's right. Amen.
So I want to let everybody know that when the left screams racism to the right, you know why they do that?
Because they are racist.
Because they are racist themselves. Look what's going on right now. You have former Klan members that are coming out of the left. I mean, their lies are exposing themselves.
Yes.
And also, the other lies that are coming out. Look at this. In the past 6 years, and the LA Times is a liberal magazine, right? What do you guys think about the LA Times? Yay or nay?
Nay. No way.
LA Times wrote a story that they said in the past 6 years, there was over 60,000 more homeless people in Los Angeles County alone. 60,000 more homeless. In the past 6 years, in LA County, people like Eric Garcetti have allocated funding, billions of dollars, towards helping out the homeless. And guess what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing changes. They have more homeless in the street. They have more veterans in the street. They have a lot of problems with mental health that are not even being addressed. These people don't care. All they care about is creating more government jobs. More government. I want less government. We need to take the power away from the politicians in our government, and we need to give it back to the people.
Amen.
So I'm asking you guys, are you guys ready to build that wall?
Yes.
I am ready. And I'm tired of seeing families being destroyed. President Donald J. Trump, we got to build that damn wall. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. You guys can find me at omarnavarro.com. Thanks.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, I think we're going to start wrapping up here. I want to first thank all of you for coming out. I'm very impressed. It takes all of us together. What has happened is our federal government has forgotten that it's we the people that ratified the Constitution. The federal government is out of control.
We've made them.
Amen.
Oh, okay. You want to come say a word? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Guys, we got one more. I apologize. I apologize.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's my fault.
No, that's the last thing you should be is sorry about.
USA! 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 Let's go, Jersey!
I stand up here today a proud American. An American that accepts diversity, an American that believes all people are created equally, an American that believes strongly in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and our God-given rights.
Amen.
I stand up here an American that believes strongly in individual liberty. I'm also an American that believes in the phrase, shall not be infringed.
Amen.
I'm an American that believes in the words, Congress shall not make any law abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of people to peacefully assemble.
Amen.
I'm an American that believes the Second Amendment protects the First. I am also an American that at times sees a nation divided, but then also tries to find a common ground.
Amen.
I'm an American that feels compassion for our citizens. I'm an American that wishes I didn't see homeless on our streets, but I am also an American that believes in hard work, picking yourself up by the bootstraps and making something out of nothing.
Yes.
I'm an American that believes in innocent before proven guilty, due process, and an American that condemns mob rule.
Yes.
I am an American that, although sometimes flawed, trusts our judicial system. I'm an American that applauds the hard, often thankless work of our police departments.
Yes.
I am also an American that believes in the old proverb, one bad apple doesn't spoil the bunch. I'm an American that has distrust in our mainstream media and their anti-president, anti-conservative agenda. But above all, and almost most importantly, I'm an American dreamer. I dream that the American way of life, through its trials and tribulations, is still the best on earth.
Amen.
When I dream of America, I dream of its diversity. I dream of its beauty. And I dream of its opportunity. When I dream of America, I dream of its sprawling culture and the safety of its citizens and the importance of its democracy. I often dream of a place that will give my children and their children the same sense of pride and freedom that I've been blessed with. From the enormous cities to the royal foothills, this country we live in, the United States of America, without a doubt is the greatest place on earth.
Amen.
And I am grateful to call it my home.
Amen.
But it is apparent more than ever that these beauties, dreams, and admirations are threatened. We have conflict on our southern border that the media refuses to call a crisis because it's too hate blind by our president. The warning signs are at the border, but the leftist media bias laughs this off and quips at the idea of a border crisis. The left has no concern for our way of life, the safety of the people in it, or the criminals that threaten it. The left's dangerous attitude about the safety of our citizens should scare every Democrat in the nation. But the spell that Democrats have put on its supporters has been ingrained through handouts and freebies. President Trump was wrong. Biased journalists aren't the enemy of the people. Democrats are.
Yes.
The Government Accounting Office studied 249,000 illegal immigrants that were currently in jail.
Not who they work for.
This group averaged 1.7 million arrests. That makes 7 arrests a person. There's 500,000 drug offenses, 70,000 sexual offenses, 213 assaults, 213,000 assaults, 125 arrests for theft, and 25,000 murders. If you don't fund the border wall, then you support murder and the degradation of our society.
Exactly.
If you don't fund the wall, you support drugs flowing over our border to poison our children and add to the dumpster fire that is the opiate crisis in America.
That is. Affects us all.
If you don't fund the wall, you support the murder of innocent citizens by illegals that are often never caught, thus not being charged, and closure never found for the family. If you don't fund the wall, you don't support the rule of law that hangs delicately in its balance. If you don't fund the wall, you support corrupt and disgusting garbage like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Kamala Harris, and Cory Booker that I'm forced to call a human. If you don't fund the wall, you do not support the America and the beauty that it holds.
Treason for traitors.
Treason. If you don't fund the wall, then you do not support life and the dreams that they may have had. Most importantly, if you don't fund the wall, you do not support the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the freedom of liberty that God has given us.
That is correct.
We must build a wall. We must fund the wall. And we must finish the wall. For our people, for our family, and the future of freedom. Liberty prevails. I'm Jersey from Major League Liberty. God bless you guys.
Good job, good job. Good job, Jersey. Good job.
That was amazing. Thank you. Okay, you guys, I want to bring up this beautiful little girl right here. because this is the whole reason that we're all standing out here.
Breonna Taylor.
This is Breonna Taylor. You know what, Breonna? That's my middle name, Taylor. My name's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, thank you for standing up here with me. Okay, everyone, this little girl right here, she represents the future of America. It's children like Breonna, girls and boys, and all the future generations is why we're standing out here in the rain in front of our White House, honoring our president and telling our federal government who works for us with our tax dollars that they serve us and they need to protect Breonna and all the children her age and the generations to come after Breonna. This is why we're here, that you all are the most amazing people, willing to leave your homes, willing to travel, willing to come a long ways and spend money to come out here so we can all join together and start a movement to demand that our elected politicians start serving us, serving Americans, and taking care of all Americans and Breonna and all the future generations to come. Amen. So we're demanding that we want our wall. And we want America first. And it's Americans and our interests and our tax dollars that we want to come first above all things. America first. Thank you guys. I want to give a shout out. One more thing about Terrence Williams. He's in the hospital. He was in a terrible car wreck. If you guys follow him on social media, remember him and say prayers for him and send him good well wishes and maybe go to the hospital and visit him. Which hospital is he?
It's are we supposed to?
Oh,
privacy.
yeah. We'll keep it private.
Send him a DM, but I don't want to release where he's at because he's getting some not so nice messages as well. So I really don't want
Okay, yeah. We'll keep that private. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he'll see this.
Yes, he's watching. He's watching. So we want to tell you, Terrence, that we love you and we're praying that you get well and feel better soon.
We're praying for you, brother.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to wrap this up and thank all of you for coming. We're going to be heading back to the Trump Hotel where we're going to get dry and get something to eat and drink and just enjoy fellowship with one another where we can all make friends and share information.
One last thing. I want us, before we all leave, I want to see if we can, we've got a big group, but I want to see if we can orchestrate a picture here. If we can all get a real good picture for us to post. And then, but before we do that, you guys kept thanking me all day, and I really appreciate that, but this really isn't me. This is Marjorie. This is Ben. And it's Ryan Bolte, who never speaks. But Ryan runs Fund That Wall. And you guys can go to Fund That Wall, www.fundthatwall.com. You can find Fund That Wall on Facebook. But I just wanted to thank Ryan's organization for coming in and helping make sure that this event happened today. And I want to thank Marjorie, and I definitely got to thank Ben. And I just want to thank all of you guys, because the reality of the situation is that we wouldn't be here if it were not for you guys. And together we can build a wall. We'll make sure the wall is finished, because this is what we are. We are Americans first. Thank you guys so much for being out here.
Before you get lost, I'm Donnie Ravis, Hagerstown Tea Party.